Hey everybody, how's the night going? My name is Hi. I would like to welcome everyone to another X-Space AMA event with BTSE. We're thrilled to have John Suede, CEO of Suede AI, joining us today. Suede AI is making waves by bringing together AI and blockchain technology and then new and innovative ways to benefit both musicians and artists alike. Hey John, thank you for being here. Let's jump right into it. Uh,
Sure.
can you can you tell us about yourself and your time in the music industry and your experiences you had before creating Suede AI?
Sure. So, my name is Johnny Suede, and I launched this project about 3 months ago, and it came out of a few things. I've been a pretty successful entrepreneur. I was actually retired before I got into it for a few years, and I saw things going on with the music industry as well as the crypto industry, two industries that I love, that were starting to become very questionable. And I saw an opportunity for us to create an agent that could protect artists from basically being completely circumvented in the royalty process. So, um, my background, I've been in music since I was a kid. I've always loved it. It's always been a hobby and a passion, not a career, which I'm fortunate about because it's always stayed pretty pure to me. And I saw an opportunity here. I lived in Hollywood for years, and always been kind of, on in the industry in some capacity, but never for my music. So I saw an opportunity here to kind of, I think, right the ship on two industries I love that I felt like were kind of going astray, and that's why I started it.
Perfect. So can you tell us more about Suede AI and the team you built around it?
Sure. So, Suede AI is the first generative music AI. So, anybody can go on right now on suedeai.xyz, and they can type in a few sentences, even just one sentence, and get a studio grade song in the genre they choose. They then own that song, and they do royalties on it. So if they say they want to use it and lease it out to somebody, or they put it in content that they've made and they monetize the content, then they own all IP and royalties to that. So content creators, for instance, can create songs for their content if they're making videos without having to worry about copyright strikes or people coming after them for royalties, or on the other side, just using very bland stock music that everybody uses. So um, that's kind of the idea behind the generative AI.
Mhm.
We then have the AI agent that brings the music onto X. And the team that I've assembled is, I think, the best in the industry, and they've proven that. Anybody that goes on to Suede AI and uses it is absolutely blown away that this is even possible, let alone on crypto. I think we're very used to in crypto kind of the products being um, suboptimal, or being just kind of average,
Mhm.
but having the crypto component attached because there's a lot more complexity to it. So sometimes we're more confined, and we made sure that any friction or any user experience was better than anything that would be in Web 2. And then we've assembled the tokenomics around that.
Okay, we'll catch up with the tokenomics in a little bit.
Sure.
First, I want to continue on with Suede AI. Was there like a specific aha moment when you realized like AI could be a game changer for the music industry? And what were your first steps to bringing Suede AI to life?
So great questions. There were a few things, and there's a lot going on with the music industry now. And 3 months ago, it was very, very prevalent.
Mhm.
And I then read an article about a girl named Mahalia, and she's apparently a top streamer. And she signed a contract when she was 13, and she now barely gets by, and she's one of the most streamed artists on Spotify. And so AI agents started to proliferate at this time. And I realized that there were all these artists that were basically being completely leapfrogged and left out of the process. as these studios and these shows would go right to an AI model like
Mhm.
OpenAI. But with AI agents, the artist has the ability to create their own model, and thusly they can direct it, they can refine it, they can have some say in what it creates, and more importantly, they're due royalties and can actually be acknowledged. If Warner Brothers goes on to OpenAI and creates a song, that's the combination of every artist that's ever come before. So it's hard to really draw a lineage to any specific artist. Whereas if an artist has their own model that they've trained, then they have something that's actually emblematic of their views and their ideals and something that they've created. And thusly, due to patent law, and we've got a number of legal opinions on this, as long as there's human intervention in the process of the AI, then that human, in this case, the artist, is due royalties and acknowledgement for that piece of work.
Mhm. So there are a lot of artists who are both intrigued and concerned about AI, right? And in
Hmm.
art, video production, and in music, they all worry that AI might replace human creativity. Suede AI seems to take a different approach, like you just explained to us there, right?
Yep,
How do you see artists, or how do you help artists see AI more as a creative partner rather than a replacement?
sure. So, yeah, when I launched this, I called it the most un-AI AI, because we're using AI to mitigate that.
Mhm.
The last thing we want is to live in a world where music is sterile and, artists aren't creating. I think it's too important to allow that to happen. But at the same time, the reality is that's already happening. So the only way that we can make sure that we don't leave the artist out and we don't kind of fall into this formulaic and sterile kind of cold music or culture is that the artist adopt a way to utilize it as a tool. And interestingly enough, Kanye West actually came out about a week ago and was saying, artists were afraid of beats, they were afraid of loops, they were afraid of samples. This is another tool that can be leveraged if leveraged properly. But I think the most important part is that the artists stay involved. And that's what agents allow, because instead of one model that everybody goes to,
Mhm.
now it can be forked and artists can have their own model that they've directed. And the way they do that is they jam with the model over and over again. And there's a process called iterative feedback loops. And basically, every time that it goes around, the model is learning more and more what the artist prefers. So it's basically like collaborating with yourself. And then now, once the artist has created the model, it can go and create one piece, it can create 100,000. It can create it in a style that the artist is willing to allow it to be used for, but maybe wouldn't want to play.
Mhm.
Um, and then also it'll create in perpetuity. So, once the artist has passed, the estate will continue to get royalties from that as long as they renew the patents, which of course they will. And so they're do that for, as long as that model continues to stay running, which, is very important to an artist that creates something. If I work a corporate job and I get a pension or, a life insurance and I pass, my family's taken care of. That's not always the case with the music industry. But whoever owns the model now, and the artist will dictate that in their will get royalties for as long as it's being utilized.
Yeah, so you've told us about a lot of the features of Suede AI, right?
Mm.
What would you say would be the flagship feature that most people would come to use?
Sure. So I think right now, what people are most impressed by and what we've built it to kind of onboard people in a very easy process currently is just the ability to type something as vague or specific as you want, even just one sentence, and get a song that is so refined and so fine-tuned that it sounds like something in the top 10, if not better, in completely studio grade.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where it is now. The features later will be more focused on artist refinement. But right now, as we introduce everyone to the process, we've wanted to keep it as simple as possible.
Okay, so you also mentioned royalties earlier, right?
Mhm.
Royalties and licensing, that's always been a major pain point and a hot topic for, artists and in the recording industry in general, right? What does Sweet AI do to fix this, and can you go into more detail?
Sure. So we leverage smart contracts. I think it's the perfect kind of marriage of technologies. Most industries have been disrupted a lot by technology.
Mm,
The music industry really hasn't. I think it's still probably the most archaic industry. I think that's largely because it feeds on people's vanity and wanting to do what they love. So they're willing to sign things that maybe aren't as in their best interest as other industries. So smart contracts allow the elimination of right now when an artist receives royalties, it goes through a number of bookkeepers, and really the last person considered is the artist. The accounting, the fees. Record labels take fees for CD creation, which they haven't done in 30 years, but they still take 5% for that. So all of that happens before the royalties reach the artist. With smart contracts, the artist doesn't need to wait quarterly. They don't need to double check, and they don't need six accountants to on payroll to try and get the money to them. It just gets automatically distributed via smart contracts in real time to their address, and that's just a function inherent in the blockchain, and it's completely transparent. So it's perfect for artists that maybe have concerns around that and don't want to hire 20 people that they then need to worry about, are they doing things correctly.
yeah, I get it. So also I noticed that Suede AI hopes to help artists with real-time analytics. Not many or not very platforms can provide that, right? Can you tell us about the kind of stats that the artists can expect to get info on?
Sure. So what's great is we've integrated a social platform. So
Mhm.
anybody that creates music, it'll go to the homepage, and anyone can go on. You don't need a profile, you don't need to log in, nothing. And by the way, there's no cost to any of this. The only precondition is just you hold 7,500 tokens in your wallet. You don't need to sign anything, you don't need to pay anything. That's just simply to make sure that no one is spamming the network. It's like $100 US worth of tokens, and that's to create unlimited songs with unlimited storage, but all in the cloud. But
Okay.
if you just want to listen, everything goes to that social page, and then you get real time analytics on what people are listening to.
Okay. So also, who within the music industry have you gotten feedback from? What have been their thoughts on Suede AI, and are you actively working with anyone in the industry?
Yeah, so I'm working with a few local artists, as well as my team, which does have a few creative leads that are involved in basically outsourcing and kind of you could consider it AR. It's a little different,
Mhm.
but the feedback has been largely it's a creative tool that people can use, and it's given them some direction when actually they've had writer's block, and it's allowed them to kind of collaborate, like I said earlier, with themselves to come up with something that wouldn't necessarily be available to them on any given Sunday. Artists are very much, some days are more in the flow than others, and so to have that consistent sort of backbone to rely on, and people have loved that.
That's great. Okay, so I know a lot of the people here want to hear about this, right? So we're gonna move on to the Suede token.
Okay.
Can you give us a rundown of the key benefits that it provides for their holders or your holders? Sorry.
hmm Sure. So right now there's the token gate, which allows you to utilize the music, to create it, try it, play with it. And the token is also built into our governance structure. So the way that works, we just launched a creator fund. So we'll be giving $15,000 to a number of different creators each that use Suede to create different pieces of work. There's a podcast, there's a movie and shows, there's a someone creating an EP, there's a single. So the way that works is in the community model, people that are chosen to receive these grants then will create music with the AI. That music, once it becomes trending on the social page, once people are listening to it over and over, and we have real time, honest data as to what people are enjoying because we can see it, then it'll go in front of a vote, and people have the ability to vote in the DAO to decide what music they want to impact the community model.
Mhm.
So that'll direct the model, and then they receive royalties based upon their token holdings, because that's the percentage of influence they've had on that model through the governance process. So it gives them royalties, it gives them the ability to direct it, and a number of other things.
Mm. Okay, so you mentioned earlier, blockchain and the music industry really hasn't meshed yet, right? This is
Mhm.
why you created Suede AI. So blockchain is actually quite confusing for new users. How did you design Suede AI to help these newcomers on board to crypto and have a better experience?
Sure. So that's been really our key vision since day one, because that's been a pain point for a long time. Knowing that I need to write down a seed phrase, and then I have to be worried as to whether or not my webcam saw it, and all these things that people really don't understand yet how it works. So we've simplified the process. We don't want people signing things with their wallets. We don't want them in the habit of doing that, but we want them to have a non-custodial wallet, because that's the ethos that we believe in. So we've made it as simple as possible. All they need to do is just open the website, and the wallet will be connected. They don't need to sign anything. They don't need to give approval for anything. There's no gas paid or anything like that. And the app just recognizes that they have the adequate amount of tokens. They don't need to stake them. They don't need to delegate them. They just need to be in the wallet. It's that simple. And then the site will allow them to do anything they want, and they don't even know that they're interacting with crypto. That is the key point. I think they'll be curious and want to learn more, ideally, about crypto. But in the beginning, we don't want them to have to feel like they're involved in that, because then they start, focusing on things outside of the art. So I think it's a good way for people to start getting curious and see some of the capability of blockchain for a number of different applications.
Yeah, you're using Suede AI like a gateway into crypto, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That sounds good. Okay, so one couple more questions for you, right?
Yeah.
I think all our listeners are very curious about this. Do you have any exciting events or partnerships coming up that you can share with us?
Sure. So we partnered with a number of people in the crypto space because we've had so much success with any artist that we've reached out to. They've immediately loved it because it's, like I said, been a big concern about AI and the proliferation. A lot of artists feel like they're being left behind, and they
Hmm.
really don't know where to start. So a lot of artists have liked the fact that now they can be involved in that process and have some agency, and also have a team that they can reach out to that knows what they're doing, and knows that side of the industry. So we've created partnerships with a number of very big names in the crypto space. We actually are having a regular segment on Mario Nafal's channel, and that's going to be AMAs, and then a series of videos around kind of the AI process. Um, and then we've got a number of non partnership sort of things that are coming out with articles from major news publications regarding AI, AI agency, as well as sentience.
Hmm.
And so we're very broad based in the people that we're working with from the industry, from mainstream news sites, and to very crypto specific people.
Got it. Awesome. So we look forward to seeing how Suede AI grows in the coming months. For all those interested today about following Suede AI's journey, what would be the best way to stay connected with you guys?
So I would go to linktree.com/Suede AI. And that's going to have all our socials. I'm fully doxxed through the roof in every single way. My YouTube channel is pretty much my life history. So, um, people can go on there. It's got my YouTube channel. It's got all my X accounts. It's got our Telegram. We have multiple websites. So we have suedeai.org, which is very much informational. We've got suede.so. And then we've got suedeai.xyz, which is the app and the actual music platform. Any of those channels, very easy to get a hold of us.
All right, perfect. And that wraps up the Q&A portion. Let's give our listeners a chance to weigh in on Suede AI. We're going to open it up to 5 listeners now. So anyone that's interested in asking John anything, just raise your hand. And let's start with Mike. Hey, Mike, can you hear us? Hey, Mike, you're on mute.
Hello, can you?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. We're listening.
Okay, so I have actually have a question regarding the price, like users or artists who tend to like putting their music on your platform. Like, what percentage fees does Studio AI tends to collect from the platform, and also how do you protect your users from in terms of security?
You said, what do we plan to do to protect from security?
Do you get a question?
Can you say it one more time?
Okay, I said like what percentage does Studio AI tend to like take from what percentage do you take from users? And also in terms of security, how do you tend to like secure your platform for users?
Okay. So as far as users, like I said in the beginning, there's no cost. Everything is stored for them. The DAW that's being built is cloud-based, so people don't have to use very elaborate computing hardware. So everything is done for them. Right now, we just want people to try it. So we're not charging anyone to use it so that people can just have the experience, know what's possible, and then tap into, potentially a creative side of themselves if they're not very oriented. If they are, then the artist can leverage it. So no fees, no costs whatsoever. Right now, we just want people to go on, play with it, and see how they like it. And then, once we hit full economic mass and, we're at the point where we've got thousands of artists on there, then at that point, we'll actually move to probably a subscription model. But for the time being, completely free. And then as far as security, we are multi-audited. We've got the best dev team in the business. We've not had a single security incident since we've started. So yeah, we're just very vigilant about that because anytime cryptocurrency is involved, you need to be. So that's our thought on it.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for your question. Moving on to the next, we will go with Zenda. Hey, Zenda, can you hear us? Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Question is on issue of profitability. So I want to
Mhm.
know your primary revenue streams and how do you plan to achieve profit in a volatile market? Thank you.
Sure. No, great question. And what's nice about not having record labels, not having executives, not having accountants, not having middlemen, is that you can ensure that the artist receives nearly 100% of all the royalties. So that makes a huge difference. By the time it makes it to an artist the way that it is, typically it's about 5 to 10% of all the money that's made. So the actual creator is making the least amount of money off that music. But with smart contracts and being able to actually have a systematic way of paying artists, we can ensure that they've gotten more royalties than they've ever received. And then we have a distribution network, which will allow artists to tie in directly with studios or productions to have their music featured if whatever project is looking for a specific genre.
All right, thank you, Zenda, for your question. We'll be moving on. Let's go with Biggie. Hey, Biggie, can you hear us? Hey, Biggie, are you there? Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
okay. I have a question regarding your partnerships. I just want to know if you can tell us more about your partners and also like future collaborations. Can you tell us which partners you're planning in the future to collaborate with?
Yeah, so that's the role of the creator fund. Right now, like I said, we've amassed a very strong treasury, and that's going to be incentivizing artists, paying them, like I said, $15,000 if they've got a past work that they can show, with CDs, and then we vote on it. So that's going to be artist outreach. What we want is to give a voice to a lot of artists that kind of haven't had the ability to compete on Spotify, on Apple Music, because those platforms are very much geared and specific to large artists that are owned by the record labels. And outside of those few artists, that's really all there is that are going to get any sort of revenue. You need a million hours of streaming just to see a dime. So this is going to allow someone that jumps on and maybe they've made 3 songs in their life and they've had 5 streams. Well, with cryptocurrency, micro payments are completely doable. So it'll allow anybody to monetize their work.
All right, great. Thank you for the question. Going on to the next person, we'll go with Space Jam. Hey, Space Jam, can you hear us?
Great AMA so far. So my question goes like this. How does Suede AI handle intellectual property rights for AI generated music?
Great question. So one of the great inherent features of blockchain is anytime something is created on chain, it's stored in an immutable ledger. So anytime they make a piece of music, it proves not only provenance because anybody can take that transaction hash and tie it back to someone's wallet. It also ensures that they have a cryptographic signature that does indeed show that it is actually their piece of work. So if someone ever questions, well, how can you prove it? They can sign a signature with their wallet that shows they hold the private key for the wallet that made that specific piece of work. So just by nature of how blockchain works, it allows people to store their music in infinity and have it secured by the strongest networks in the world without needing to run servers or have to worry about securing it themselves or paying for licensing. It's all done naturally via the function of blockchain. So it's everything's stored on chain, which allows that proof and that permanence.
Great. Okay. And last but not least, Carl. Hey, Carl. Hey, Carl. Can
He's
you?
raised his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, am I audible?
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is how does your token AI use of Solana's blockchain give it an edge over other AI music platform? And how might the burn token scarcity model impact the long-term value of the token for artists and investors? Thank you.
Great. No, great question. So Solana is very unique in the fact that due to its scalability, it has something called compressed NFTs, CNFTs. So for a fraction of a penny, when you're done with the process, you can choose if you want to have this stored on chain forever. And for the fraction of a penny, you mint a CNFT. So you actually have ownership of that piece of music in the form of a digital token, essentially. You then can tokenize that. So if you want to sell half to someone and they want half the revenue stream, or if you're Taylor Swift and you want to give it to 1,000 fans and they get a little bit of royalty, you can do it. And then regarding the burn tokens, those are those aren't locked. Those aren't available to be accessed later. They're burned. They're gone forever. 53% of the supply. So once the supply shock really does set in and the market starts to realize that there is a very limited amount of these tokens, I presume that it's going to be nothing but beneficial for any holders.
Perfect. Thank you for answering all those questions, John.
Thank you.
This wraps up our Q&A segment. But before we end this AMA, I'd like to ask John if he has anything left to share with our audience for the night.
No, I appreciate everybody coming out. I just hope that, if you'd like to try it, please jump on there and really see what's possible because the feedback that I get time and time again is I had no idea we could do this. I didn't, and people love it because you can type in a sentence as specific as you want, and so it's a very special thing that you're creating for someone. Say you met someone in a very unique circumstance, or they have unique characteristics that you want the song to write about. You put it in there, and it will make any lyrical statement work in a way that sounds great. And so there's no fee involved. Jump on there, use it. Our token appreciation has been incredible. We've been making all-time highs against Solana in spite of all the turmoil over the past few days. We went from a $5,000 market cap to a $25 million market cap in the matter of 2 months. And so people are really recognizing the value of consumer applications. And I think that that's going to continue to be the trend because crypto Twitter is a small segment of the world. So really branching out is important. And so, yeah, try it out, get on there. If you have any questions, any feedback, we are always available, myself included. And this is our passion, this is our love. So we are there to answer any questions you might have and give you any assistance that we could.
All right. Thank you, John, for joining us today. I'm just going to wrap this up and thank everyone else for coming. Just a reminder that we have multiple campaigns running for Suede AI going on right now. We have a tiered trading competition and an additional buy low, sell high incentive for users on our Telegram communities. For more information about these events, please go to our blog at www.bitsy.com/blog. A big thanks to John from Suede AI again for joining us today, and congratulations to all the winners. Look forward to seeing all you guys again on our next X Space AMA. Bye for
Thanks.
now.
And one, I'm sorry, one last
Yep.
point. Um, Definitely jump on and use BTSE. We're listed on multiple exchanges, and by far it's the best exchange that we're on. And so I just encourage everyone to try it because we've been very, very satisfied with the features. So,
Thanks for the compliment. Look
of
forward to
course.
working with you some more, John.
All right. Thank you. You have a great day.
Yeah, same to you. Good night. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.